Hello, everybody, and welcome to the channel. And we finally made it. It's October 4th, 1961, and it is time for Game 1 of the 1961 World Series. We got the Milwaukee Braves traveling up to New York to take on the New York Yankees. Let's take a look at the starting lineup here for game number 1. We'll also go over the benches here. Let's do the benches first. We got on the bench Mac the Knife Jones, Al Spangler, Sammy White, Felix Montella, John Dimitri, Bob Boyd, and Gino Camella as your guys, regular players. And the pitchers, you got Lou Burdette, Bob Boyle, Carl Wiley, Bob Henley, Don McMahon, Don Nobart, Tony Coloner, and Johnny Antonelli. And the starting lineup for your Milwaukee Braves, leading off, playing right field, Lee May. Batting second and playing second is going to be Frank Boland. Batting third, playing third, Eddie Matthews. Batting fourth, playing center field is Hank Aaron. Batting fifth, playing first base is Joe Adcock. Batting sixth, playing left field, Frank Thomas. Batting seventh and doing the catching, Joe Torre. Batting eighth, playing shortstop is Roy McMillan. And the ace of the staff and the Cy Young winner for the National League, pitching for the Braves, and Warren Spahn. Now, let's take a look at the New York Yankees. And the bench players for the Yankees are going to be Johnny Blanchard, Hector Lopez, Bob Serve, Willie Gardner, Joe Demetrius, Bob Howe, and John Reed. Your pitchers will be Ralph Terry, Bill Stafford, Raleigh Sheldon, Bud Daly, Jim Coates, Hal Ruffin, Tex Cleaver, and Luis Arroyo. And the starting lineup for game 1 for the New York Yankees, Bobby Richardson leading off, playing second base. Batting second, playing shortstop's Tony Kubek. Batting third, playing right field, Roger Maris. Batting fourth, playing center field, Mickey Mantle. Batting sixth, playing first base, Bill Skowron. Batting sixth, playing left field, Yogi Berra. Batting seventh and doing the catching, Elston Howard. Batting eighth, playing third base is Clint Boyer. Batting ninth, led the American League and Major Leagues with 23 wins on the year, the chairman of the board, Whitey Ford. Let's get down to Yankee Stadium and get this World Series started, folks. We got Carlos, Ken Castro in the house, Doug Hunt, and Aaron Reed. We're going to make one adjustment here. We're going to get rid of the real life stats. We're going to change that to sim stats, and we're going to have the playoff stats show up now. So simulated stats and playoff stats instead of real and sim. And other than that, I think we're ready to go. Like I say, you got Whitey Ford on the mound. He had 39 starts on the year. He had a 2.95 ERA, 23 wins, 8 losses, 13 complete games. And he's going to be going up against Lee May. He batted .230 on the year with 16 home runs and 40 RBIs. And Beatles joins us here. Hopefully we're going to have a full house as Tim D and Jamie's in there. So let's get this game started. Here's the first pitch from Whitey Ford to Lee May. And that's going to be a lazy fly ball out to Roger Maris. And that'll be 1 up and 1 down for the Bravos. And that'll bring up That'll bring up Frank Bolin now. And Frank on the year batted .288. He had 18 home runs, 81 RBIs. And here's the pitch to Frank. And that's going to be a fly ball out to center field. And Mick's got it. 2 fly balls, 2 outs. And now it's up to the big boy, Eddie Matthews, to get something going here against Whitey. Eddie barely got over that 300 mark, but he did it, batting .301, 37 home runs, and 121 RBIs. Hey, Chicago's in the house here. And here's the pitch to Eddie. And he gets a hold of this, wraps that one down the first base line off the wall down there near the 296 mark. And Eddie Matthews gets a 2-out double here, folks. So Matthews standing down at second with 2 outs for Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron batted .309 on the year, 33 home runs, 124 RBIs, and was the National League's MVP. Can Whitey get Hank out of here and shut these Braves down in the first? And that is going to be a ground ball down the third. Boyer fires over to first. And they strand Matthews at first. Braves nothing. Yankees, Richardson, Quebec, and Maris due up here against Warren Spahn. Warren Spahn with a 2.25 ERA made 34 starts on the year with a 21-6 record, 17 complete games, and was the Cy Young winner, folks. He led the National League in wins and with a 2.25 ERA. First batter he'll be facing is Bobby Richardson, batting .246 on the year. He had 3 home runs, 63 RBIs. And Bobby set the table here for the big boys. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Matthews, over to Joe for out number 1. Here comes Tony Quebec up now to face Spahn. Tony batted .274 on the year. He had 7 home runs, 61 RBIs. Here's the pitch to Quebec. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Lee May, patrolling right field today for the Braves. 2 up and 2 down. And it's up to Roger Maris. Roger batted .267 on the year, 74 home runs, 147 RBIs, an obvious MVP winner for the American League. Here's the pitch to Roger. And that's going to be a swing and a miss, and Spahn strikes him out to end the inning. We get to the top of the second. It's nothing. We got Adcock, Thomas, and Torrey due up. And Joe batted .281. He has 39 home runs on the year, 124 RBI. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Yogi, patrolling left field today for the Yanks. 1 up, 1 down. And that'll bring up Frank Thomas. He batted .267, 29 home runs, and 87 RBIs on the year. Here's the pitch to Frank. And that's going to be a single in the right field. He goes the other way. He'll stop down at second with his with his speed. He's not going to test the arm of Roger. So 1 out single brings up Joe Torre. Joe did get his batting average up to .251 late in the year. He started to come on. He was batting below the .250 mark, .240 almost all year. He did have 9 home runs, 45 RBIs. In order for the Braves to win this series, I think Joe has to have a good series. Spawn insane and pray for rain is right, Chicago. Here's the pitch to Joe. And that is going to be a infield hit. And Joe Torres hits a Baltimore chopper down the third. Boyer holds on to it, and all of a sudden, with 1 out, the Braves are making some noise here. And that brings up Roy McMillan. Roy did not have a good year at the bat. They used his glove, though. He batted .215 on the year, 10 home runs, and 58 RBIs. He did have the walk-off home run to end the regular season, folks. So maybe he's getting hot at the right time. Here's the pitch to Roy. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Mick in center field. And Frank's not going nowhere. So that's 2 outs. And that brings up Warren Spahn. If you watch the Braves during the regular season, Spahn had a great year in the field and a great year at the bat. He batted .218, 3 home runs, 11 RBIs. Hey, Buckshot. So Whitey can't groove one here, or Spahn will put the Braves on the board, that is for sure. And he doesn't. He doesn't take him lightly. That's a swing and a miss, strike 3. That's Whitey's first strikeout. The Braves strand 2. We go to the bottom of the second. We got Mick, Skowron, and Berra due up here for the Yanks. Mick batted .307. He had 51 home runs of his own with 146 RBIs. And here's the pitch to Mick. And that's going to be a base on ball. Spahn wants nothing to do with Mantle. And if you watch the replay, this happened a lot during the regular season. Mick would trot on down the first. And then comes Bill the Moose Skowron with batting .282, 42 home runs, and 144 RBIs. Moose has made a lot of pitchers pay for walking Mick. Can he do it here in the World Series? Here we go. And that ball is high. That ball is far. That ball is going. The Moose with home run number 1 here in the playoffs gives the Yankees a 2-0 lead. Spahn shaking his head. Can't believe it. He pitches around Mick only to see Skowron taking deep. That brings up Mr. Yogi Berra. About at .291 on the year. 28 home runs, 77 RBIs. Here's Yogi. And that's going to be a fly ball in the center field. Aaron back. He goes out and meets Ruth for the first time and makes a nice catch to rob Yogi of a base hit. And that's the first out here in the second inning. That brings up Elston Howard. Almost had the batting crown. Norm Cash beat him out, but Howard batted .345, 19 home runs, and 88 RBIs on the year. Hey, Hunter, here's the pitch to Howard. And that is going to be a pop-up straight up the chute. And Joe Torre will make the catch for out number 2. And here comes Mr. Boyer up now. He batted .223 on the year. He had 12 RBIs, 12 home runs and 57 RBIs. And we dropped the dice for the first time. Make it an official game. And that's going to be a ground ball down to McMillan at short. Over to Adcock. But the Yankees score 2 on the Skowron home run. We go to the top of the third. Got the top of the order due up. May, Bolin, and Matthews. Lee flew out to Rogers first time up. And that's going to be a ground ball. No, that's not going to be a ground ball. That's going to be a swing and a miss, strike 3. That's back-to-back strikeouts for 40. Struck out Spahn, and now he struck out May. Here comes Frank Bolin. He flew out to center field his first time up. And that's going to be a ball 1 to Frank. Here's the 1-0 count. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Roger for out number 2. 2 fly balls for Frank and 2 outs for Frank. Here brings up Matthews. He doubled off of Ford his first time up. Almost had a homer. Here's the pitch to Eddie. And that ball is high. That ball is far. That ball is going. Roger turns around and watches that wrap around the pole out there in right field. And Eddie cuts the lead to 2-1, folks. And that brings up the hammer. He's 0 for 1 today. He grounded out the Boyer. Can he go back-to-back with Eddie? And no, that's a ground ball down the Quebec over to first. But the Braves get 1 on the Matthews home run. It's 2-1. We go to the bottom of the third and the bottom part of the order. Ford's due up. Then we're back to the top with Richardson and Quebec. Whitey batted .140 on the year. Got 8 RBIs. Hey, big clues in the house. Here's the pitch to Whitey. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Lee May. And that'll be out number 1. Back to the top of the order we go. And Bobby Richardson. And Bobby, he grounded out to third his first time up. And that's going to be a fly ball in the center field. Aaron has to get on his horse. Runs into the gap, makes the catch. Bobby Richardson goes back to the bench, shaking his head, thought he had at least a single. Here comes Quebec. He flew out to right field his first time up. And that's going to be a swing and a miss, strike 3. Only the second strikeout for Warren. But the Yankees go down 1, 2, 3. To the 4th we go. Adcock, Thomas, and Torrey. Joe flew out to Yogi his first time up. And that's going to be a pop-up on the infield. Who wants it? Bobby Richardson's calling for it. Camps under it, makes the catch for out number 1. Now Frank Thomas is up. He singled his first time up. Here's the pitch to Frank. And that's going to be a fly ball. No, that's going to be a pop-up down the third. Nice play by Boyer in fair territory for out number 2. And here comes Joe Torre. He singled his first time up. He had that Baltimore chop. And that's going to be a base on balls. And Joe, he trots on down the first. That brings up McMillan here. And Mac, he flew out to Mick his first time up. And that's going to be a hit by pitch. Whitey drills Mac. Don't understand that. That puts the tying run in scoring position. Here comes Warren Spahn. The Braves dugout ain't too happy with Whitey. I hope that don't mean the fix is in. Here's the pitch to Spahn. He struck out his first time up. And that's going to be a swing and a miss, strike 3. So Whitey's got 3 strikeouts, 2 of them Spahn, and that'll end the inning. The Braves strand 2. We go to the 4th. We got the M&M boys due up. Maris, Mano, and Scourin. Yeah, the Moose. That's right, Chicago. That's true. So here we go. Roger struck out his first time up against Spahn. Here's the pitch to Maris. And that ball is high. That ball is far. That ball is gone, folks. And Roger Maris launches one in the right field in the upper deck to give the Yankees a 3-1 lead. He comes around third. Mick shakes his hand and said, "What was it?" He said, "That was a curve that didn't curve." Mick's up there now, walked his first time up, came around the score on the Scourin home run. Can Mick go back to back with his M&M brother? And no, that's going to be a ground ball down to Frank Bolin, over to Joe Adcock for out number 1. Bernie's in the house, folks. Getting a full house here. And that brings up Moose, Bill Scourin. As we said, he had a 2-run homer his first time up to give the Yankees a 2-0 lead. Here's the pitch to Moose. And he doesn't want nothing to do with him. That's going to be a ground ball down the first. And Adcock's up with it. He tosses it over to Spahn for out number 2. And here comes Mr. Berra. Yogi flew out to center field, got robbed of a hit by a nice catch by Aaron. Grandiolo 970's in the house. Yeah, curveball that didn't curve. That's right. Here's the pitch from Yogi. And Yogi's going to trot on down the first with 2 outs now. Can Elston Howard do something here with 2 outs? Howard popped up to Joe Torre his first time up. And that's going to be another pop-up. And that's going to be down to third base. Matthew calls for it, makes the catch. And that'll end the inning. But the Yankees score 1 on the Maris home run and take a 2-run lead as we go to the 5th. The Braves will have the top of the order due up here. May, Bolin, and Matthews. Lee is 0 for 2. He's flown out the right and struck out. And that's going to be a base hit. Mick can't get to that one. That's going to drop in for a single. So Lee May's aboard here with nobody out. And that'll bring up Frank Bolin. He's 0 for 2. He's flown out the center and the right. And that's going to be a swing and a miss, strike 3. One down here. That's only the 4th strikeout for Whitey. Here comes Eddie Matthews. He has homered and doubled in this game, folks. He's figured Whitey out. Can Whitey get him out this time? Here's the pitch to Eddie. And he does. That's going to be a ground ball down the short. Quebec charges hard. His only play will be over to first. May will get down to second for 2 outs now. And here's the question. Do you walk Aaron or do you pitch to him? And Whitey says he's going to pitch to him. He's had him ground out the third and the short. So here's the pitch to Hank. And he's going to wish he didn't because Hank squares this one up, folks. And that ball is driven in the right field. And Maris gets over quickly, but with Lee May's speed, he's going to score from second. And that's going to make it a 3-2 ball game. Aaron holds up with a single. And that brings up Joe Adcock now. Joe's 0 for 2. He's flown out the left and popped up the second. And that's going to be a ground ball down the short. Quebec over to second. That'll end the inning. But Aaron's RBI single makes it a 3-2 ball game. So we go to the bottom of the 5th. We got the bottom part of the order due up here for the Yanks. Boyer, Ford, and then back to Bobby Richardson at the top. And Boyer, he is 0 for 1. He grounded out the short his first time up. And that's going to be a base hit in the left field. Boyer gets aboard here with a leadoff single. And here comes Whitey. Braves are looking for him to try to bunt Boyer in the scoring position. And that's what I think Whitey's going to try to do. He flew out the right field his first time up. And that's going to be a base on balls. No, that's 2 balls and no strikes on him. Here's a 2-0 count. And Whitey walks the hard way in APBA. 2 rolls of the dice. Whitey trying to put down a bunt, and Warren Spahn walks him. Now there's first and second and nobody out for the top of the order and Bobby Richardson. Can Bobby do something here? He's 0 for 2. And he was slumping coming into this series. His batting average dropped to 246. Can Bobby come up with a key base hit here? Give Whitey a little breathing room. Here's the pitch to Bob. And that's going to be a pass ball. Joe couldn't handle that. And all of a sudden, Warren Spahn looks wild out there. So we're going to have second and third now. A 1-0 pitch to Bobby. And the Braves have got to bring the infield in. They can't afford another run to come across here. So here's the 1-0 pitch to Bob. And that's going to be hit back to the mound. And Spahn's going to look the runners back and fire over to first. So now there's 1 out and still second and third for Tony Quebec. Can Tony come up with a key 1-out base hit here, folks? You got Boyer at third, Ford at second. Quebec 0 for 2, flew out the May and struck out his last time up. And that's going to be another ground ball back to the mound. And again, Spahn looks him back, fires over the first. 2 big outs by Warren Spahn. But here comes the big boy, Roger Maris. He's already homered against Spahn once. And Warren sure doesn't want to walk Roger to load the bases for Mick. So he's going to pitch to Roger. He's 1 for 2 with that solo home run. He did strike him out in the first inning. And that's going to be a fly ball out the right field. May short of the track, makes the catch. And the Yankees strand too. Let's see if that comes back to bite them in the butt. We go to the top of the sixth. It's still a 3-2 ball game. Thomas, Torrey, and McMillan do up here against Whitey. Frank's 1 for 2. Singled and popped up the third. And that's going to be popped up behind home plate. Howard takes the mask off near the screen, makes the catch for out number 1. Yeah, exactly, Carlos. Ain't that the truth? Joe Torrey having a heck of a game. He's 1 for 1 with a walk. Here's the pitch to Joe. And they're finally going to get him out. Mick waiting on this one. It's a can of corn for Mick. That'll be 2 down. And Whitey have a 1-2-3 inning here in the 6th. McMillan's 0 for 1. He did get hit by pitches last time up. And that's going to be a ground ball down the first. Scourin's got it. He'll toss over to Ford covering. And the Braves go down in order. We go to the bottom of the 6th. We got Mantle, Scourin, and Barra due up here. Mick's 0 for 1. He did walk and came around the score. Grounded out to Frank Bowman his other time up. And that's going to be a foul ball, strike 1. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Mick. And that's going to be a swing and a miss, strike 3. So Spahn gets his 3rd strikeout of the game. And here comes the Moose. He is 1 for 2 with that 2-run homer, grounded out to the first baseman. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Matthews. 2 up and 2 down here in the 6th. And here's Yogi. And Yogi is 0 for 1. He did walk his last time up, though. And that's going to be a base hit in the left field. Yogi goes the other way with it. And he's on with another 2 out. Let's see if Howard can do something this time. Howard is 0 for 2. He's popped up twice. Once to the catcher and once to third. And that ball is high. That ball is far. That ball is gone, gone, gone. Elston Howard gives the Yanks a 3-run lead. That was a no doubt about her in the left field. Turned on that one. Frank Thomas watched it leave the yard. And it is now 5-2. Spahn giving up the gopher balls. It's pitched a good game, except for he can't keep the ball in the yard. That brings up Boyer now. Boyer is 1 for 2. He's grounded out the short and singled his last time up. And that's going to be a drive in the center field. Aaron dives, makes the catch for out number 3. But the Yankees scored 2 on the home run by Elston Howard. We go to the 7th inning. We got Spahn due up. We'll have a pitch hitter for him. And then May and Bolin. See, he's going to come off the bench here for the Braves here while I take a drink. This 7th inning is brought to you by Gatorade Zero. Let's see who's going to come off the bench. I think it might be Felix the Cat. Montelia is going to come off the bench here. Try to get something started here in the 7th for the Braves. Spahn goes 6 innings. See what the Cat can do for you. Where is Felix? See, there he is. The Cat batted a $190 on the year with 14 RBIs. Very good, Chicago. I like it. Hey, Philip Reynolds is in the house. And here's the pitch to the Cat. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Quebec. He fires over to Moose for out number 1. 1 up and 1 down here in the 7th. To the top of the order we go in Lee May. Lee's 1 for 3. He came around the score in the 5th inning after he singled. He's flown out the right and struck out his other 2 times. And that's going to be a ground ball this time down to Bobby Richardson. 2 ground balls, 2 outs here in the 7th. It's up to Frank Boland to keep this inning alive. And Frank's 0 for 3. He's flown out twice and struck out his last time up. And that's going to be a ground ball down the short. Nice play by Quebec. And I'll say this for Beatles. He went in the hole like NV does. Fires over to first for out number 3. 1, 2, 3 goes the Braves. We go to the 7th inning stretch. We got Whitey, Richardson, and Quebec due up. So they're going to bring in Bob Henley. Bob's going to come out of the bullpen here and face the lefties. And if it gets to him, exactly, you like that, Beatles and Ken? Yeah. So Bob Henley's going to come out of the pen to face the lefties here in this 7th inning. Try to keep it a 3-run game. Bob was kind of bitching that he wanted to be one of the starters, but I think he'll be more valuable to the Braves coming out of the bullpen to face the lefties when they need him. He could be a key part of this World Series here. Bob Henley comes in. This is it. He pitched in 22 games. He had a 2.36 ERA. He was 8 and 4. And let's see what he can do here against Ford, Richardson, and Quebec. And if anybody gets on, the main reason he's brought in is to face Roger, being a lefty. Whitey's 0 for 1. He did walk his last time up, though, trying to lay down a bunt. SPAHN couldn't get him out. And that's going to be a ball 1 to him. Here's the 1-0 count to Whitey. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Frank Thomas. That'll be out number 1. 1 up and 1 down here. To the top of the order we go. Bobby Richardson. He's 0 for 3. Grounded out the 3rd to the pitcher and flew out the center. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Matthews again. Same result. He's out of there. Yeah, they do, Chicago. This is a hell of a lineup. I think the best matchup for the Braves is going to be in game 2 with Lou Burdett. He's got that ZZ rating. He's not going to walk him. The Yankees are going to have to earn their hits against Lou. Tony Quebec's coming up here with 2 outs in the 7th. He's 0 for 3 also. He's flown out the right. He struck out and grounded out to the pitcher. Here's the pitch to Tony. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Joe Adcock. He'll call off Bob. Take it himself, and the Yankees go down 1, 2, 3. We go to the top of the 8th. Yankees up 5-2. Ford's coming out here in the 8th. If he gets in any trouble, they'll get Luis up in the bullpen. Right now, he's sitting. We got the big boys due up here for the Braves. Matthews, Aaron, and Adcock. Eddie, 2 for 3, a homer and a double against Whitey. Whitey did get him to ground out to Quebec his last time up. Not this time, folks. He blasted that one again in the right field. And that one's over Rogers' head, off the wall. And that'll be a stand-up double to start this 8th inning. And that will get the bullpen up. The Weiss is up and about. Yankees don't want to blow this one. Here comes Hank Aaron. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI single his last time up. He's grounded out the 3rd and the short. Here's the pitch to Hank. And that's going to be a ground ball down the 2nd. And that'll get Matthews over to 3rd. But that's 1 out here in the 8th. And the Yankees will play back. Joe Adcock up. They'll trade a run for an out here. Joe's 0 for 3. He's flown out the left, popped up the second, and reached on the field his choice. And that's going to be a fly ball in the left field. Is that going to be deep enough to get Matthews in? And it is. Yogi goes back. He won't even make a throw, folks. And that'll make it a 5-3 ball game. Now there's 2 outs and nobody on for Frank Thomas. And Donkey is 1 for 3. He singled, and then he's popped up the third end of the catcher. Can Frank deliver here with 2 outs? And that's going to be a ground ball down the first. Scourin makes a nice play over the board, and Braves score 1 and make it a 2-run ball game here, folks. And here comes the big boys. Maris, Mano, and Scourin. Bob Henley's came in the game for this reason. To face Roger as a lefty, turned Mick around to the right side. Rogers 1 for 3 with that home run, folks. He struck out and flew out the left. Flew out the Lee Mahan right. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Frank Bolin. He throws over to Joe Adcock for out number 1. And here comes everybody's favorite Mickey. He's 0 for 2. He's walked and came around to score. He's grounded out the second, and he struck out his last time up. Excuse me. That's going to be another swing and a miss, strike 3. Mick goes back, not happy with himself. 2 outs now for the Moose. He's 1 for 3 with a 2-run homer. He's grounded out the first and the third. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Frank Thomas. The Yankees go down in the bottom of the 8th. 1, 2, 3. We go to the top of the 9th. The bottom part of the order due up. Can Whitey go the distance here? If anybody gets on, he'll be lifted. Torrey, McMillan, and a pitch hitter for Henley. Joe's having a hell of a game. He's 1 for 2. He's singled, walked, and flew out the Mick. And we got Legend Sports Universe in the house, folks. And here's the pitch to Joe. Can he get something started here in the 9th? And that's going to be a ground ball down to Frank Robinson. He fires over to first for out number 1. Brings up Roy McMillan. And Mac is 0 for 2. He's been hit by a pitch. He's flown out to Mickey. And he's grounded out to the Moose. And we dropped the dice for a second time today. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Roger Maris. Roger waits for it to come down, makes the catch. And the Braves are down to the last out. And who's going to come off the bench here? It looks like it's going to be old Gino is going to come off the bench. See if he can get something started here with 2 outs against Whitey. And Whitey go to distance with a 7-hitter here. Here's Gino. Gino batted .240 on the year. He had 1 home run and 4 RBIs. That's not on these cards, Ken. I got an old 1961 set, so they don't have it on there. I know what you're talking about, but yeah, it probably is in the high 30s, 33 to 35. But yeah, these old 61 cards don't have it on. Yeah. Here's the pitch to Gino. And that's going to be a fly ball out the right field. Roger pumps his glove a few times, catches it, and the Yankees celebrate a 5-3 win here, folks, in Yankee Stadium. The Yankees win game number 1, 5-3. And we'll go take a look at the box score in game number 1 of the World Series. It's a game, as good a game as I thought we was going to get. Yeah, it was a decent game, I thought, with Spawn and Whitey. If it wasn't for the long ball, the Yankees would have lost this game. Spawn couldn't keep the ball in the park. So let's take a look here at the box score. The Braves out hit the Yankees, but the Yankees got it where it counts. And with the runs, Braves 3 runs on 7 hits and no errors. Yankees 5 runs on just 5 hits and no errors. Eddie Matthews was the man for the Braves, 3 for 4. Came around to score twice and had an RBI. The Braves were 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Like say Matthews with a double and a home run. He was the only one really figuring Whitey out. The Braves left 6 men on base. And you had Roger Maris, Moose Scowen, and Elston Howard with the 3 home runs, folks. And without those home runs, like I say, the Yankees didn't do much besides drive the ball out of the park with those 3. Yankees were 0 for 3, and they only left 3 men on base. So they took advantage of every small opportunity Spawn gave them. Oh, thank you, Beatles. I appreciate it. Thank you, Chicago. Thank you, Doug. Spawn drops to 0-1 here in the World Series. Goes 6 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, walked 3, struck out 3, and gave up the 3 homers. Henley comes in and does his job. He shuts the Yankees down in 2 innings, struck out 1, kept it a 3-run ball game. He was able to get 1 run back. Oh, you're welcome, bud. Let's look at Mr. Ford going the distance. Whitey picks up his first World Series win here in 61. Goes 9 innings, 7-hitter, 3 runs, walked 1, struck out 4, and gave up the home run. The next game, game 2, is going to be Lou Burdett going up against the man with 2 first names, Ralph Terry. Should be another great pitching game. Thank you, Carlos. Appreciate it, man. So we'll have game number 2 probably tomorrow. I don't know if anybody's going on again tonight or not. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate it, bud. See if anybody in the chat's going to do something tonight. Yeah, Ken, it is still early, ain't it? What is it? Probably around 9, because that was a pretty quick game. Yeah, it's not even 9 o'clock. What was that? About a 40-minute video. Yep. So it's looking like this might be a damn good World Series here. Like I say, Elston Howard 1 for 3 with a home run. I don't know if the Braves will probably. The difference the Braves might do is take Lee May out, but he had a good game. What was Lee? 1 for 3. Came around the score. I'll probably take Lee out. Be the difference in their lineup. And then let's see if I don't think the Yankees are going to take Howard out of the lineup and put Richardson in at catcher after having a home run in game number 1. I think they'll go with the hot hand. I think they'll go with the same lineup. If Howard starts to struggle against righties, you got Blanchard on the bench. You can always bring him off the bench. So I think the Yankees are going to go with the same lineup against Lou. Like I say, he's got great control, but heck, what the Spawn only walked 3. Let's see if there's the walk. I think the 1 walk came around the score. Mickey did. So 1 walk scored. And Roger led off that inning with a homer. So only 1 walk came around the score. And that was Mick. Made it a 2-0 ball game. So it wasn't like walks killed him. I went with their most popular lineup. Ken, the only thing I had to decide, to be honest, is who was going to either play right field or center field. Was I going to put Lee May in and let him play right field? I considered putting Al Spangler in, letting him play center field, and moving Aaron over to right. And I think that's what I'm going to do against Ralph Terry. I think Spangler's going to come in, lead off, play center field, and Aaron's going to move over to right field. That's my theory there. Against righties, Spangler will play, and against lefties, Lee May will play. And if neither one of them does anything going into the last few games, Mac the Knife Jones may get some playing time. So, and I'm going with a 3-man rotation, Ken, for both teams, because I looked it up. The Cincinnati Reds went with a 3-man rotation. They went with Joey J, O'Toole, and Perky. So the Braves are going to go with SPAHN, Burdette, and Bob Buell. And of course, I knew the Yankees went with a 3-man rotation because of the days off. Because Whitey, and during the regular season, pitched every 4th game. He only had 3 days off. Eddie, sports legend, says Mac the Knife Jones got picked up by the Braves, got drafted by the Braves in year 3 of the franchise All-Star game baseball. That's cool. Like I say, Mac, he outperformed for me. Mac did a great job in the regular season. Matter of fact, at one time he was hitting like 280, and they actually sent him down to the minors. And so I was playing as played lineups. So, like I say, here was Mac Jones hitting 280, getting sent down to the minors. So that was kind of funny. I don't know if anybody else is going on or not. Yeah, exactly. I bet you old Billy came to town just to go out and drink with the boys. What do you think? Yeah. Billy's like, I ain't got nothing to do. I might as well go to New York, have a beer or two. and MB, yeah, he's out there scouting for Red Bolt Nation, seeing how these 61 Yankees are going to do for him, Ken. That's what he's doing in the stands. Yeah, he's scouting for Red Bolt Nation. Well, like I say, I don't see if anybody else is going to do anything. So, what time is it? Tell you what, it's 10 of 9. If by 10 o'clock, if by 10 o'clock nobody's doing anything, I'll do something at 10 o'clock. We'll do game number 2 of this World Series. That's what we'll do if nobody gets on before 10. Oh, glad you made it home safe, Bernie. Did you enjoy yourself in Texas with the grandkids? I hope you did. I seen the pictures of your granddaughter's birthday party. Very nice. Very good, Carlos. Yeah, just a light switch away. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed yourself, Bernie. It's awesome. I don't know why I cleaned all this up. I'm so used to having to clean up after the game so I can play the next game. Hell, I can leave these cards out, so I'm going to put them back out here. Don't know why I did that. Here, let's bring up the box score instead of seeing that. Let's see here. Does it season overview? Does it still just bring up the regular season or does it go to postseason? Yeah, me and you both. No, it just keeps the regular season up. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Excuse me, this whole World Series, Bernie. It should be a hell of a World Series. Let's see if I go to postseason. I think that's going to just be the setup. Yep. So reports. Let's see here. We can go to reports here. I know the reports have postseason. And here we go, postseason. That's team postseason. Let's see here if we can go to individuals. Individuals. Here we go. Leaders in the postseason. So you got Matthews batting .270, Yogi 500, Boyer, Howard, Torrey 333, Hank and Roger 250, May 250, the Moose 250, and Frank 250. It's a versus righty lefty thing. Let's see here. And you had 4 home runs. The Yankees with 3 and Matthews with 1. Eddie's the only one with 2 base hits. No stolen bases yet. Matthew with 3 total hits. Mick struck out twice along with SPAHN. Hopefully that don't continue. You don't want Mickey in a slump in this World Series. Of course, he was in the hospital before the World Series, so we'll see how the Mick does in this World Series. He'll be going up against Lou Burdett in game number 2. I know, like I say, I thought somebody else might come on. I want to give somebody else the chance to get on, Buckshot. Nobody comes on before 10 o'clock. I'll be back on here at 10, and we'll do game number 2. So I'll get off of here, see if Bernie or somebody gets on here, or Beatles. See if somebody gets on, does something. I don't know if Legend Sports Universe wants to do something with Madden. So, alrighty, folks. If somebody else gets on, I'll see you over there. If not, around 10 o'clock, I'll be back on with game number 2 of this World Series. Until then, you all have a great evening and take care.